I'm Dr. Kimberly Manning.
And this is Dr. Ashley McMullen. And you're listening to the Human Doctor Podcast, where we explore the human side of medicine, along with teaching, living, learning, and all things in between. Using the power of storytelling, conversation, and connectedness.
Hey, we're two dope academic internal medicine doctors, but we ain't your doctors. So if you perceive anything we say here as medical advice, no, it ain't that. Also, the things we say, they only reflect our brilliant Black woman magic mind and not our employers.
You could have been anywhere, y'all, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate you. Let's go.
I actually am aware that I'm telling the story this week, but I would love to hear a little bit about what you've been doing because you've been having some excitement.
Yeah, girl, I'm back in these United States, but it was a good week over in Portugal, is where I spent my time. I spent a couple days in Lisbon, then a couple days up in northern Portugal in Porto, which is gorgeous city right on the river. That's where we ran the half marathon. I'm not even going to front. That race was hard. I was recovering from a viral illness and sleep deprived. And I also had to pee literally the entire time. So that was a new challenge. But, this is just word of wisdom for folks who are doing new races. Check that course ahead of time. See if they actually have bathrooms on the way, because I made a strong assumption that turned out not to be the case.
Yeah, and I will tell you that if they do have bathrooms, don't assume that other countries, and I mean, I'm sorry, this is no shade to other countries, but I only have done one international race, and that was the Paris half.
Yes.
And the porters did not have tissue. None of them.
No,
Which is probably not fair to say to Europeans. I'm sure, they're looking for toilet paper like anybody else, but for whatever reason, nobody seemed as pressed as me about this. And some really nice woman from Kansas was like, "There's no toilet paper in." I heard you talking, you sound American.
Yeah. So I learned a few things the hard way, but it was awesome. We finished. I got to have a dope ass experience with one of my closest friends, and yeah, I would do it again. I'm already working on the next race.
I love that. Were the sights beautiful?
It was a beautiful run. Awesome. Most of the race was right along the river, mostly flats, and just a lot of great energy. It was really cool, like a cool way to experience a new city and a new country. So,
did you go on the Afro-Portuguese tour?
I did not. If you reference a few episodes prior, I'm not a good planner. So I thought about it, and by the time I thought about it and looked it up, it was like the type of stuff you had to book at least, more than a day in advance. So next time. But I did read a lot about Portuguese history, so that was fun and exciting.
That's sweet. I've never been to Portugal.
I highly recommend. It was really, again, I don't want to generalize. Like I just went to Lisbon and Porto. It's like going to New York and saying you've been to the United States. So those cities were wonderful. I know a lot of the country is still fairly rural, but those cities in particular were really, really easy to get around, very tourist friendly. A lot of the folks spoke English, easy to get on public transportation. I would go there again, and I would feel very comfortable going solo.
I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. Did you listen to Tina Marie singing Portuguese say love? I want to see it. Did you see it? Do you know that song? You know what? If you do not, okay, you know what? Listen, Catherine, because I know Catherine is our person who does our show notes. Shout out to Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're too young for this song too, but the late great Tina Marie, soul singer extraordinaire, non-melanated soul singer extraordinaire. That's one of her jams.
Okay.
And it's weird because she says Portuguese say love. That's how she sings it. All the people that's my age, they are absolutely appalled right now that you don't know this song. Please do not edit
What do y'all want from me, man? I feel like you set these traps for me and you already know how it's going to go down.
Go somewhere with it, because that's the first thing I would do. I would be like, Portuguese. Which is, anyway.
You could have told me ahead of time. You knew where I was going.
I'm definitely gonna play this song for you as soon as we get off the mic. I will right that wrong. Oh, Lord have mercy. Mm-mm-mm. Well, for me, I am, as I mentioned, on the hospital service. You know, if you could burn the candle at both ends, if there was like a fourth or a fifth end to burn it on,
Mm,
I would be burning that right now.
busy
But
service.
busy-ish.
Yeah.
But my team is dope. It's all women, which is
Oh,
kind of cool.
cool. I love
All,
that.
all women. Yeah, all sisters. So all of us, we just roll up in rooms and people are like, what? And then we even have two Farm Ds on the team and they're women too.
Yes.
We're just a big pack of smart girls just out here just flexing with
Mm,
knowledge. So that's pretty cool. Today, what was really funny and Grady is that I don't know what it is about me, but people always tell me I remind them of somebody or I look like somebody.
mm.
And I'm like, why do I gotta always look like somebody? So today, just in today, let me tell you who I look like today.
Okay.
I look like Tamaran.
Cameron
That's
Hall?
that's Tamaran Hall.
Yeah. Okay.
Tamaran. You look like Tamaran. Anybody ever tell you look like Tamaran? If your hair wasn't gray, you I would think you was Tamaran. I like, yes, I've heard that before.
Hmm.
You know, you know who she looked like? She looked like Shantaria. Do I know who Shantaria is? No, I don't know who Shantaria is. But apparently, all the people in that room that the person said it in, they
Hmm.
all thought I looked like Shantaria. So I look
Then
like
you do.
Shantaria.
You must.
I do look like Shantaria. I look like Miss Carrie, baby, Carrie Hilson,
Oh,
apparently.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're like, anybody ever told you you look like Miss Carrie?
Mm.
And I was like, Carrie who? Miss Carrie, baby, Carrie Hilson. I was like, okay. Haven't thought about her in a while, but
I
okay.
know, right? She had that one banger in like 2010, but
I look like somebody's doctor that used to be in Detroit. I look like Angela. I don't know who Angela is. I would like to think Angela's cute. But my favorite out of all them, was somebody told me that I look like old girl that used to be on Fox 5 News. And old girl who used to be on Fox 5 News is me a long time ago.
that was oh my God.
I was like, you know what? I can see that. I mean, I didn't even have the heart to tell them it was me.
That's phenomenal. I
You look
love
like
that
old
for
girl that
you.
used to be on Fox 5 News. She was a doctor too. I was like, you know what?
I think I know her.
I know her. I can see that.
That's great. You look
Yeah.
the same.
I look like a lot of people, man. Something about short hair does
I
it.
was about to say that's new since the cut. Because
I
before,
think the other cut was just so like specific, but like
mhm,
this short hair, I think it just gives people all sorts of ideas. So shout out to Shantaria, um,
Carrie Hilson.
Carrie Hilson, Tamaran, oh girl, the doctor from Detroit, and who did I forget? Oh, you know who else? Who I forgot? Lil Bit. Somebody said I look like Lil Bit, but I don't know.
Bingo.
No. Now I will say that all those weren't today. Lil Bit was over the weekend.
Okay.
I love Grady so much.
We got some catching up to do, but we got stories to tell. Actually, let me correct that. You've got a story to tell.
Yes. Yeah.
And since I've been back in the States, I have been eagerly awaiting the opportunity to get back on the mic with you because I knew it was your week and we had a bye week. So, that the appetite has been whetted for, none other than the Grady Doc herself, who's currently on service, collecting more human stories and just being an incredible human doctor and an incredible educator, role model, mom extraordinaire,
Mm.
rocking the new short hair, and she
Mm.
be looking like everybody you think you know.
So
So,
familiar, that hair.
so Tamron, a little bit, Carrie, old girl from Detroit, tell us what's the what for today's episode?
Oh man. Okay, so I know what the story is, but I don't really know what the what is.
Oh, my bad. I thought I got you some
No, no,
buildup
you
there.
did. You did. I was trying to think, but I was so mesmerized by the rundown of all the people I've seen. Like, um, I think the the what is wall.
Wall,
Wall. Something obstructing you from going forward from
a
where you
barrier.
a barrier. Yeah, but I thought of the word wall because that's the word that we used to use when I was a resident physician. When
Oh, yeah.
when I was in residency, we had this call, and it was called the AMO, the Admitting Medical Officer, and you wore this pager in every single person who was admitted to medicine, no matter where they were going, whether it was a floor team, ICU, getting triage for them to decide if it was medicine. They called the AMO first. And as the AMO, you went down there, you assessed the patient, and you made a decision. It was a very powerful position in the hospital.
Hmm.
But the AMO had a lot to do with how many admissions medicine got that night. So the thing that we would say to people the night before they were getting ready to leave, they'd be like, "What are you tonight? What are you covering tonight?" And you'd be like, "I'm the AMO." And without fail, what people would say to you is, "Be a wall,
Be a wall.
be a wall." And there was no higher compliment you could get in residency than for somebody to be like, "That Ashley, she's a wall." So it was back in the day, it was a good thing to be a wall. It meant, and I mean, and granted, like if somebody was truly sick, yeah, you let them come in. But like some of these soft admissions, mm-mm. But also there would be times when people would call us from other services, right? Like our colleagues might call us from the orthopedic service, and they'd be like, "This patient's blood sugar is 450 and their pH is 7.2 and they seem a little confused and blah, blah, blah. Do you think this person can come to medicine?" If you a wall, you'll be like, "Well, I can tell you what to do and I'll consult." But as a wall, I mean, I'm not going to tell you I'm a wall, but as a wall, absolutely no. I would not take on this patient as the primary doctor, even if that's what's best for the patient. It was like a thing, you know? Or you remember, right?
Yep.
But then we grew older and we realized that this was really about human beings. And then, like, as a whole grown up now, I know that, like, when somebody's calling me and they will be better served by the internal medicine service, I'll tell my team, we'll accept that patient to our service for care. We'll be the primary. And they'll grumble a little bit, but I'll let them know that, like, no, it's not cool to be a wall because if that was your mama, you would not
Hmm.
want somebody being a wall to your mama. They agree. So, for the most part, I feel like that culture has evolved a little bit. It's not as bad as it was when we were in residency. I experienced something in the time since I've been on service in this last few weeks that frustrated me, and it made me realize that maybe a little bit of that spirit is still there. Okay. I was taking care of this patient, and let's just say there was something about this patient and her medical problems that are something that are 100% not my expertise. It's just something outside of the realm of my expertise. But this patient also had some active medical issues. So, without saying too much, let's just say this person had something that people do a whole residency for,
Okay.
and it is not a residency that I did. So I come on the service and my team is talking to me, and I'm like, "Why is this person on the internal medicine service?" They're like, "Well, there are a lot of active medical issues." And there were some active medical issues, some of which were related to the heart, and cardiology was following, and some other people were following. But again, this person also had a medical designation that would, again, impacts which medicines you can choose. There's just a lot of high stakes. Spoiler alert, the patient was pregnant.
Okay. Okay. So
Suck it
yeah.
up.
Yep.
I say to the team, "Hey, have our colleagues who care for patients who are with child, have they seen this patient?" My resident is like, "Oh, we called and we were told that there's really nothing to do and that it's no need for them to come and see the patient." And I was like, "Oh, that's really strange because, I've been working at Grady for almost 25 years, and I can count on one hand how many times I've had a gravid patient on my service. And I don't know, I just feel like the right thing to do is just to have them seen. So I tell the medical student, call back and say, my attending really would like this patient seen by obstetrics. The student calls and the person says, well, what is the question? What's the question? If is there a question? This pregnancy is like under like 22 weeks. Like, what is the question for us? Are you concerned about an impending delivery? Is the patient bleeding? What's the question? Okay, I wasn't there, but my student comes back and tells me, like, hey, we were told no. So that was request number two.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, wow, this is crazy. All right, that's wild. So we still managing the medical stuff. I'm too busy to be like trying to fight with anybody. And the following day, I say, hey, you know, this patient has had come up with a few different complaints. And I have to say, y'all, if this was my little sister, or this was my cousin or my daughter, I would feel more comfortable if I knew that if somebody opened up the chart, they could see that somebody who has expertise in pregnant patients has seen the patient too. So I tell the senior resident, I said, why don't you close this loop? Because I think we had the intern call and the medical student call. Can you just make sure this person gets seen by OB? I don't really have a question. It's, hey, this patient is pregnant and this is what you do. Come look at the patient, even if
Mhm.
you come right and sign off, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Resident who's an effective communicator and a good doctor says, sure, I got it, Dr. Manning. And as I told you, it's an all-girl squad. So I knew I was like, she got this on lock. I come in the next day and we are rounding as a team. And I say, hey, as we're running the list, I didn't see a note from OB. Did they see the patient but just not drop a note or what? She says, oh, they said no. They pretty much refused. I was like, hold up. So one, two, three times somebody said no, they would not come see this patient. Wow, that's crazy. I said, why don't you give me the phone number and let me speak to the person who called.
Mhm.
Now, I'm gonna back up for a little bit and say, there's a part of me, like the old me, the young me, I would have just immediately went to trashing the other service.
Mhm. Mhm.
I would have been like, this is so inappropriate and you're so crazy and blah, blah, blah. But I do realize that in our hospitals, especially like our hospitals on diversion right now, everybody is very, very busy for the last several months. It's a lot of not enough divided by too much. And what I imagine is that some well-meaning young doctor is trying to measure out their bandwidth. And they're
Mhm.
like, what I'm not going to do is be over here on the internal medicine service seeing about somebody who they want me to see just 'cause. So, I'm sensitive to that, but there's also the part of me that's like, if you have been called once, twice, three times, you
Mhm.
mean three times wasn't the charm? Mm-mm. So I called and I'm like, hi, this is Kimberly Manning. I'm calling from the medicine service. And I started describing what the issue is. And I would like you to come by and see this patient. The person on the other end says, is this the same patient that medicine has been calling about, like repeatedly? And I said, I'm not sure. This is my first time calling you. But if you're asking if someone on my team has tried to call you, the answer is yes. Okay, well, no. There's no reason, as I said before, there's no reason for us to come see this patient. There's nothing for us to do. This is not even at a stage where anything like this is not like a deliverable age. And I was like, okay. Uh who is this? Who am I speaking to? Yeah, I'm the most senior person on the team. You're talking to the right person. And um, what you need to know, who is this? I said, it's Dr. Manning. This person doesn't know me.
Mhm.
Well, Dr. Manning, listen, this is actually an exploitation of the OB service. And it's actually like abusive, like just for us to come just because I was like,
Ooh,
I'm
girl.
sitting there holding the phone. I said, are you in the hospital right now? Are you here? Are you physically here? I'm in labor and delivery, like seeing the many, 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 many patients that we have here who actually need us to see them. And I was this close. I'm talking about like a hair shade close to going down to labor and delivery to find this person
Hmm.
and get in their face. But then I said, like, and I could tell from the voice, like, I'm like, I easily got this person by 20 years, I'm sure.
Hmm.
I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that because, in a word war, you'll lose against me. So I know I can come down there and say something, to like shut this whole thing down, and also pull rank. And I'm sure if I walk in there, some people are going to know who I am. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. I was like, you know what? Are you the attending or are you a senior resident or tell me where you are? I'm the most senior person on the team, which to me is the answer, which is like you're not the attending. I said, I want to quickly give you some feedback. Okay. I imagine that labor and delivery is swamped right now. I actually know it's swamped because have you ever noticed how many people have birthdays in September and October? People be getting it on in the winter. So the babies be coming during this time. So I know they're busy. My birthday was just in September. Like, I get it. I said, but someday you're going to be out of training and you're going to need people to refer people to you. And you're going to need to not get sued. I said, I've been at this for more than 2 decades. And what I'll tell you is that if somebody calls me once and I don't come, and they call me a second time, the second time I just go see the patient. And you are on your fourth time resisting us asking you to see a gravid patient who has several active issues that could stand in the way of a healthy delivery. You're making a mistake. And I have your name and I can document all of that. But I don't want you to come because it's like a CYA thing. I want you to come because it's the right thing to do. Also, in no way did I speak to you rudely, but you were rude to me. And, I don't know which, because we have more than one program in our hospital. I don't even know which program you are, but I know the program directors for both of those programs. And I can make calls and do all sorts of things, but I have to imagine that you're tired and that it's impacting your judgment. But this is the kind of thing that will get you sued. And I and I really hope, because you sound, kind of young. I really hope that if you ever find yourself at a point where your family is expanding and you find yourself in the hospital, that somebody is not going through as much trouble as you are to not see you or your loved one. I said, this is crazy. Fine, fine. I said, no, 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 no. Listen, I don't want you to do it as you're saying it, how you're saying it now, because I'll call an attending. I can get somebody to come and see this patient. I can get someone I know that's not even on service to come see this patient. I'm telling you that I want you to approach this differently. And I should be really mad with you right now, but I'm trying to meet you in a sensitive space. But this is rude and it's not humanistic and it's not cool, man. And the other part too that was really disappointing about it all
Hmm.
is that if you've been black for a long time, one thing black folks know is the sound of another black person on the call.
Yep. Yep.
I, every now and then it's a couple, like, okay, like sure, every now and then I might be somebody black and they talking to me and it's racially ambiguous. I don't know. But for the most part, I don't care where you're from. I can normally hear something like gravelly in your voice. There is something about our vocal cords that makes me know when I'm talking to one of us. That was part of what made me not go over there because I would have been too disappointed. And if they would not have met me with respect in that moment and any sort of deference, it would have gotten bad. And I would have probably been prideful and tried to destroy them. And I don't want to do that. I just want to assume that there is something that is making you a wall. Either you tired, either the culture that you're in where people want you to be a wall. This has been modeled for you somewhere,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or all of them. But I want to just like break all that up. I just want to bust that all up and be like, please stop doing this. This is an intervention. I need you to not be doing this anymore. And I wish I could tell you that the person was like, wow, Dr. Manning, thank you so much for this teachable moment. I really do appreciate you. Um, that isn't really what happened, but the person did say, somebody from my service will come see the patient. I can't promise you we're going to be doing an ultrasound or anything like that. I said, I did not ask you for an ultrasound. I asked you to come with your expertise in gravid patients and as a courtesy, come see my gravid patient who happens to be on the service that I'm on. I don't think that's too much to ask. So the next day when I saw the patient, she was so appreciative, that someone saw her. She was just like, it just made me feel good. Like I
Yeah.
appreciate everything y'all doing, but I was a little bit nervous because y'all don't be taking care of pregnant people. And y'all keep double checking everything every time you give me medicines and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, because that's not what we do all the time. And I would feel the same way.
Yep.
But, I sometimes I feel like there's something new under the sun, but a lot of times I realize there's nothing new under the sun. And we really have to teach humanism because I will tell you that probably one of the biggest guiding principles I have at work every day is if this was my loved one,
Yep.
what would I want somebody to do right now? What question would I want them to ask? How hard would I want them to go? What extra step would I want somebody to take? And yeah, I was just really disappointed that in 2025, um, the spirit of the wall was alive and well.
Oh man.
It was,
Just mm,
I ain't got time for all that. I was like, the time that you done took
that's
talking
what I'm
to
saying.
wasted so much time. You could have brought your ass over here and you probably got a Doppler in your pocket. You can drop the on top of the gravid belly and be like, oh,
Right.
150 to 160. Hallelujah.
You know, in this particular situation, but I can imagine this applies in various scenarios in which, you have power here and you are in the right. You were trying to do right by this patient and you have access to power to really let this person have it, potentially disrupt their entire career. And you're actively choosing otherwise because you're having to access empathy for this person in a scenario where that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Um, and, as much as I'm frustrated by this individual and what sounds like very rude and, dispassionate behavior, I'm also like reconciling with the fact that I know exactly what that feels like, where you're not even really thinking about the patient. You're thinking about how to send a message, how to like harness some of the power that you feel is depleted as a resident because your time is so not yours,
Right.
and you've got all these competing responsibilities, and it's just crazy how pervasive medical culture is. We're kind of peeking behind the curtain of the training environment
Yeah.
in which you're often like pitted against other specialties, and the patient really becomes secondary to all of us just trying to survive.
Right.
And it's wrong. It brings out the worst in people.
Yeah, but you know what I told myself? I'm not a resident.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a resident. I don't, I'm not, submitting duty hours as a resident. I'm not working like a resident. I'm not taking an in-training exam in between classes and running a clinic and then assigned somewhere new every week. I work in a familiar setting all the time, the same two settings, either in clinic or on the hospital service. And what I told myself in that moment, because I could feel I could just feel my temperature going up
Yep.
and up and up. And I just was like, you know what? I know where labor and delivery is. I just need to come down there and drag you.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's
Hmm.
really what I um
Hmm.
but I was like, well, here's what I can control. And what I can't control is me.
Hmm.
And I will pull rank as an attending and tell you you come in to see the patient, but I will not do it in such a way that because I won't feel better afterwards. I know I won't.
Mm.
That's the re I didn't go down there because I could tell that this person looked like me. And I'm like, so what am I gonna do? Go down there and go off on you in front of all of these folks that don't look like us? And furthermore, I don't know what you're going through. I do not know what's going on. But um regardless, we are still responsible for what we do. We still responsible. And I'm now I'm speaking to the residents. So
Hmm.
if you're tired and all this stuff, you still gonna be responsible for what you did
Yep.
or on bad behavior. And I would be responsible, for what I did. And maybe how the relationship between the two services is because of what I do.
Hmm.
And I feel confident I would have gone down there and I would have won. I would have won. And it was still icky. The whole interaction was icky, even after like the person acquiesced and said, "Yeah, we're gonna come."
Yeah.
But I just I still felt myself a little bit on the hind leg still. And I got a little bit off of my chest when I told my team, like, yeah, they come in and see the patient.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why you got to be like that?
Yeah.
You know what was really good though?
Hmm.
I had gotten a really good night's rest the night before.
Oh, the sleep evangelist.
Sleep evangelist. I had gotten a really good night's rest, and I had the patience to sort of control myself.
Hmm.
Pride is a mighty, mighty thing, though.
Hmm.
It's so mighty, there's a part of you that just wants to win.
Yeah.
But I don't want to win and you lose. I want the patient to win. I want you to understand that there's clearly something special about you that allows somebody to choose you to come to do a residency here. These are competitive programs here. The fact that you in it tells me that you're smart and you bright and you capable and you know how to operate on people too and deliver babies. I mean, but be nice, man. Be nice
Yeah.
with man.
Yeah.
Maybe you just need a good night's rest.
That's, look.
Maybe I should have come down there and said, you know what, boo, can I take you downstairs and get you an espresso? I'm too old for this, man. I'm too old.
Okay.
You got me effed up. What are you talking about? I ain't got time for this. My team is capped. And why is it somebody with a whole nother human growing in them on my service? Come see them. What is wrong with you?
Right.
You know what? Anytime that something makes me mad and I don't act on it, I feel proud of myself later.
Hmm.
I really do. I do. I feel like when I exercise some impulse control, it feels so grown and so empowering. Even
Hmm.
if like in the immediate moment you don't get the dopamine rush,
Yeah.
you get a slow dopamine rush later.
Mm. That's very powerful.
Mhm.
Yeah. When you choose to show kindness, when you have permission not to,
Mhm.
that's a big deal.
Drag your ass. I mean, you can take me out of Inglewood, but I mean,
I
I'm
was
still
gonna say, you know how to choose violence. You chose not to on this day.
exactly. So, if you are a person out there and you're taking care of patients and you have been entrusted with a particular expertise, um, sometimes the simplest thing for you to do is to just do what's best for the patient. And sometimes what's best for the patient is just it won't cost you as much time as you think.
Absolutely.
All of this fighting and trying to resist people and trying to be a wall, that's not cool. But every single thing that happened on that call is something that I was guilty of at some stage
Yep.
in my life. So I want to be really clear that I don't think I'm better than this person. I'm just older. And I have seen the aftermath of behaviors like that when they persist.
Yep.
And if you declaring yourself the senior most person on the team, it's time for you to not be doing it no more.
Yep. Amen.
Well, friend, I wish I could tell you that I am done with my work for the evening, but I am getting ready to tackle the 3 things that still remain on my list at 10 p.m.
Oh,
What I'm telling you right now is I'm about to be very efficient and I'm gonna be done by 11.
okay. I'm here for that.
Mhm.
I am going to make some dinner and I'm going to pray for no earthquakes tonight, because for all my folks in the East Bay who felt that shock at 3 a.m. this morning, whew, I'm not going to lie, that one had me a little scared.
That is not an aspect of the West Coast that I miss.
Yep. Just a little reminder, we out here on these fault lines. I've got my earthquake kit. I suggest y'all get y'all's too.
All right. Well, I love you, friend, and I'm proud of you. Congratulations on your race.
Thank you very much. And I love you too, sis. Thank you for reminding us of what it means to be a good human doctor. It's not always easy.
It's not easy for none of us, but we got to keep trying.
Yeah. All right.
Girl, wait, let me play you a little bit of this song. I can't believe you ain't never heard this song before. God, young people, I swear. Because this is really an iconic song. The words say, on a starry winter night in Portugal, where the ocean kissed the southern shore, there a dream I never thought would come to pass came and went like time spent through an hourglass. You made love to me like fire and rain. Oh, you know you got to be a hurricane, killing me with kisses oh so subtly. You make love forever, baby. You make love forever. I ain't gonna let you go that easy. You got to say you love me too. I can't believe you don't know this song. I ain't gonna let you go that easy. I'm gonna give it all to you, Portuguese said love. My God, this is such an
Thank
iconic
you. I actually prefer your rendition of it.
song. You better be glad I hadn't pulled this up while we was recording because that's funny.
Oh, I'm still recording.
Are you? Are you still recording?
Yeah, we never signed off. Oh, sorry, that's going in. All right, sis. Good night.
Bye.
That wraps up this week's episode of the Human Doctor Podcast.
Special thanks to our favorite brother gastroenterologist, Dr. Chuma Obiname, for the beats. Shout out to the Dr. Ashley McMullen for editing and production.
Mad love to our podcast family at The Nocturnist and the Clinical Problem Solvers, our Med Twitter fam.
And especially shout out to all of you, our listeners.
Until next week, remember,
we see you and you are enough. Holla!